I asked AI to make me rich.
This 17-year-old high school student built an AI nutrition app that's now worth $12 million.
You want to get your money up 0 to 50K a month using AI.
AI is creating a new type of millionaire. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone with no degree, no office, and no employees is building a digital empire using AI. They aren't pitching to venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. They aren't managing payroll or arguing over office leases or sitting through hours of alignment meetings. But instead, they're doing this entirely alone, in a room, and they're moving faster than any traditional millionaire could think was possible. You see, for the last 2 centuries, the rules of economic leverage was absolute. You see, back then, when you wanted to build something of substance, something that could change the world, or even something that could generate you millions of dollars, hard work alone simply wasn't enough. Because something people knew back then that we don't need right now is permission. And that's because then you needed a hierarchy and you had to raise capital. That meant you had to go to people that had money and you had to convince them that they could trust you with their money. You had to hire big teams, manage politics, rent physical spaces, and navigate through layers of legal bureaucracy. Historically, to scale, you needed a lot of hands. And that's because the single individual was capped by the amount of hours work could have been done in a single day. If you worked 90 hours a week, at the end of it all, you only had 90 hours of work done. And because of this, the old world used to be controlled by the gatekeepers. These were already established institutions, heavily funded businesses, and well-connected individuals. But the size of your team nowadays doesn't carry any leverage. But now, permission is no longer an advantage in a fast-moving world. And that's because the baseline has changed. And quietly, without the world noticing it, the cost of creativity, creation, and developing new institutions that could rival already established brands is broken. And suddenly the constraint of human time and need for massive budgets have dissolved. And today, a single person sitting in their room, in a coffee shop, or even a spare bedroom can act as a world-class software engineer, an elite copywriter, an art director, a data scientist, and a global distribution network, all simultaneously. And I think you can see where I'm getting with this. And now with all of this, think about it. Think what this actually means. In the past, if you had an idea for a software platform, you needed $250,000 and 6 months of development to even just see if your idea worked. Today, all you have to do is speak to a machine, and in 90 seconds, it'll build out what you want. If you need a global marketing campaign, you're not going to an agency to get that work done for you. You deploy autonomous agents that analyze customer behavior and generate hyper-targeted creatives, which test variations in real time and also optimize the budgets while you sleep. And you see, AI isn't just a new tool. It allows us to get into a whole new bracket of human capability. You see, we're starting to witness the birth of a new type of millionaire, someone whose leverage is so high that their own solo input outdoes the work of an entire office floor. But now, who wins in this new way of life? And the answer might genuinely shock you. And that's because the winner isn't necessarily the person with the highest IQ or the best degree or the highest qualification. And that's because in an era where every technical question can be answered within a second, raw memorization starts to lose its premium. And that's because these new millionaires are architects of leverage. They are adept, intensely focused, and most importantly, deeply obsessed, because they don't view AI as some magic wand to magically get all of your work done, but instead, they view it as a cognitive amplifier to get more work done at the level of scale, which was previously unattainable for one person. They also understand that the highest paying skill of our generation isn't coding anymore, or writing, designing, but instead it's systematic thinking. It's the ability to look at a massive problem that people have, break it down into its core components, and orchestrate machines to solve that issue. They don't wait for permission because, to be honest, there isn't anyone left to ask. They simply build, iterate, and distribute. And by the time traditional companies end up planning out their quarters, this one solo entrepreneur has already been able to capitalize on that market. But let's be clear about this. This shift isn't a gentle one. It's an economic filter. You see, there's a phrase that's been moving across every industry right now. AI will not replace humans, but humans using AI will replace humans who don't. Because you see, the exact same leverage that AI gives someone to get the work done is the exact same thing that you can see that makes people compliant that don't use AI. And that's because AI is like a mirror. It magnifies everything that it receives. And if you give it a vision, speed, and a straightforward plan, it'll multiply whatever you give it tenfold. But equally so, if you give it laziness, hesitation, and just box ticking, it'll give you the exact same thing back, and it'll render you completely obsolete. And the shame is the comfort of a predictable career path is slowly fading away. Doing just enough to get you by back then used to be a safe strategy, but now it is one of the highest risks that you can partake in. And that's because the middle is starting to hollow out. The people that don't use AI are the people that are slowly falling down. Because now you're either the person that is directing the machines or you're the person that the machine is replacing. And we are living through the first moment in history where a single person armed with enough vision and internet connection can build something that was once reserved for global elites. The barriers are gone and the infrastructure is shattering before our eyes. And the leverage is sitting on your desk right now, waiting. For the first time ever, your output is only limited by the input of your imagination and your willingness to execute it. The old world isn't coming back, and the new world, unfortunately, doesn't care about your credentials anymore. It only cares about what you can build. And now, the question shouldn't be whether the shift is happening. The question should be, will you watch it happen, or will you become a part of it yourself? God bless.